And before creating the container, I need the context. So that's the reason I will say container creation starts here. Okay. So I am breaking my script into 3 smaller pieces. 1, the resource group, 2, the storage account, 3, the container. Let's understand. If I want to make this reusable, which means if the storage account already exists, the script should simply say that you know what, storage account is there. If the storage account is not there, only then, sorry, if the resource group is not there, only then it should go ahead and create the same. What should I do here? What should I be doing here then?
If statement.
If statement.
Yes.
If the resource group is there, or if the resource group is not there, I should create it.
Yes.
If it is there,
If
I should
else.
simply tell that you know what, the resource group is there, so I am skipping the creation. So if else, you do if else out there.
Yes. If
Before
else.
you do if else, do we need to do anything else?
Get resource group details.
Get resource group details. Firstly, you check the resource group. If the resource group is there, based upon that, you write your if statement. So I'll
Error
say
action.
RG error action, yes. I'll say RG details is equal to get hyphen AZ resource group hyphen the name, whose name is what? What should be the name here?
RG name.
$RG name?
Yeah.
Yes. $RG name hyphen location dollar
Location.
location
Location.
hyphen error action silently continue, because I know that if it fails here, then it will throw me an error. So I don't want to throw this an error. I'll say if RG details is equal to dollar null, and RG details can only be equal to dollar null if there is no resource group out there as such. So I'll say is equal to null. What should I do? You need to give, sorry. Okay. Mhm. Client is already giving name in the first line.
Create a
Client is
resource.
already,
Create a new one.
it's reading in the first line. But what should I do in the if statement if it is not there?
Create a new one.
New Azure
Create it,
resource group.
which means this is the statement that I need to follow.
Yes.
So I copied everything, cut everything out here, put it inside my if loop. Understand this, guys. Put it in a plain English. You are using the script, you are entered the name is not there. What should you do? Create it. That's the reason. That's what I did here. I said that's what I did. Again, this is not a rocket science. I'm just doing whatever in plain English. I'm putting it in the form of, let's say, a script. Else, I would say write host RG already exists, skipping the creation. Or give a new name or something like that. You can do that. But since it's an end-to-end script, I'm saying skipping the creation out here. I just scroll down, and this is now the resource group part, wherein it's first checking whether the name that you entered. So you as a client entered a name. It's checking whether the name that you entered already exists on the Azure portal or not. If it doesn't exist, the if condition will get satisfied. It'll go into this particular loop and it'll say, okay, fine, I'll create a resource group for you. Great. Else, the else can only be satisfied if the RG details is not equal to null. And when will it be not equal to null? When this returns a value. When will this return a value? Only when this particular resource group name already exists on the portal. So I'll say great. I'll scroll down. Can I do the same thing for storage account also?
Yes, sir.
Whatever logic that I implemented here, I'll take the same logic, but slightly different. What I'll do, instead of saying RG details, I'll say storage details. Agreed? So here I have RG details, which is telling get hyphen easy resource group, name of the resource group, error actions identity continue. I'm saying storage details. And now I'll say get hyphen in place of AZ resource group, I'll say AZ storage account. I'm telling okay fine, please get the storage account. Whose resource group? Which resource group it is again into? What should be the name of the resource group? Dollar name
Dollar
or dollar
RGB.
RG name?
RG name.
That's what we are passing. So I'll say dollar RG name hyphen the name of the storage account. Again, name of the storage account is being passed as dollar storage name, whatever your
Storage
client is
name.
passing. Storage name. So I'll put it here. I'll say hyphen error action silently continue. Now I'll say if dollar storage details is equal to dollar null, then can I get the entire statement inside again? Okay, sorry, not this one. Till here. Entire statement inside the if loop again, just to make sure that I know what I'm doing. I'll just say yes. So entire statement inside the if loop right now. If the details is equal to null, else what should it be? Right host telling storage account is already there. I'm not creating it. It's a right host. Storage account name already exists in creation. Finally, I can do the same thing for my container also. I can say container status. I say get hyphen AZ storage container hyphen whose name is it storage account? Is it container? It's a container. So I'm saying it is a container name. I'll say hyphen container name. And whenever you're doing a get or something like that, you also need the context. So what I'll do, I'll copy or I'll cut this entire context, and before I do the container status, I'll do the context. Get the context, and I'll say hyphen context. It's dollar context out here as such. So I'm now doing a dollar context out here. And if container status is equal to null, then this is my statement to create a container. So I'll get everything. Paste this in. I'll say else. You can write some elaborate thing here. I'll say write host container with the name dollar container name already exists under the storage account, and I'll say I can give its name. I'll say storage name. I'm saying okay fine, this is the detail. So if I just save this out, run this out once again, it's asking me to enter the RG name. I'll say demo to PSRG storage account name. I'll say demo to PS storage ABC000 container name. Say test container. Now enter. It's telling starting the RG creation. It's saying succeeded. It's telling starting the storage account creation. And now it's going ahead creating the storage account for me. And after the storage account creation, it will also try looking for the container, check whether the container exists or not. Then it goes ahead and creates that particular container out there. And if you again go and give the same details, it should simply go into the else loop and say, you know what, that storage account exists or the container exists and all that stuff. So now storage account is done. So it's saying cannot find the container, and it threw an error here saying cannot find a container called test container, and then it went ahead and created a route. Why do you think this error is coming here? Where do you think the error is coming?
Already test container is created.
Okay, but let's understand. Where do we
Well,
think
that
the error is coming? Which command is giving the error?
Get get Azure. Creating
Get
container.
hyphen
Put Azure error action.
error action. Exactly. I missed giving the error action out here. This is the command it's telling is giving you the error because I know that the container is not existing. I don't want it to throw an error, so error action silently continue out here. If I go back to the Azure portal, demo 2 PSRG got created, inside which I have a storage account, inside which I have a container out here. Let's say now let's test our script. Let's give a couple of things. This I will also go ahead copy this one, and it's anyway just as container. So I'll just go ahead re-execute it once again to see whether my script is reusable or not. It's saying enter the name of the resource group. This was the name of the resource group that I copied, which is demo rg something. Enter the name of the storage account. This is the name of the storage account that I have. I'll say enter. I'll say test container. So it's saying what? RG already exists, skipping the creation. Storage account already exists, skipping the creation. Container with the name test container already exists under the storage account. What? Skipping the creation. Which means that the script is incremental in nature. It's very incremental in nature, which means that if it exists, it'll just skip. If it doesn't, it'll create it out. Let's see once again. One more scenario. I'm executing this out once again. I'll give the same name of the storage account. Sorry, same name of the resource group, same storage account name, but a different container. What should it do, you think? Or what should it do, we think out here? How should the script behave right now?
It will
it
skip
is
the first
created a
two steps.
container.
Container should be created. Resource group, it will just skip it, telling that the
Yeah,
resource
it
group already is there. Storage account is already there, it will skip it, but it should create the container. So let's see if it works that way. So it's saying RG already exists. Okay, I did not save it after that. So that's the reason it gave an error out here. Cannot find the container, something like this. Let's see. Why is it behaving like this? Let's see. Get hyphen AC storage container. Cannot find the container, something like this. Get hyphen context. Okay. I have passed an error action out here. Let's see. This is a details AC storage account. This is fine. Okay. Not this one. I've given a wrong error action parameter. Let's remove this out. I should have given it here. I've given it in the wrong place, but I should have given it here. But let's try again. Okay, should be fine. Fine. So ignoring this error because I gave a wrong error action parameter. I've give it in the wrong give it in the wrong line. It's saying starting the container creation, and it went ahead and created a new container inside this. Let's see. So if I go into containers, this container and this container one out here as such. Yes. Any questions till here? Anyone? Any questions till here that I can take? So this is now an end-to-end script which looks for names, checks for the name, doesn't exist, go ahead. Again, you just need to understand this part on how is it getting the storage account, or sorry, how is getting the resource group. If it's not there, how is it creating? If it's there, how is it telling you? The same logic I've applied for storage account, container, You can apply the same logic for multiple things like a virtual machine, web application, anything. Same logic can be put in place. You can just apply this out here as such.
Yes, Kiran. Can we just in the else statement after giving the right of statement as RG group already exists,
Mhm.
then in the next step we can give the next statement as read host, give a new name to create a new
We
one.
can do that, but the thing here that I want to emphasize on is that again, if the name again exists, then what are we going to do? Again, the script again has to ask for a new name out here,
Yes,
which means
in the
that
next in
you
the
will
else
need a
statement.
looping statement out there. So if you want to do that, there is something called as a do while loop in PowerShell.
No, can we use in the if else statement? Because if it's null, we are creating a new one. If
Correct,
else, we are giving it already exists in the next statement read host, give a new name,
correct,
and next we
right.
can give
Create
the
one.
statement as new create on. Yeah,
Mhm. Right. So you are doing a read host here. You want to do a read host here, right?
yeah, read host.
Right. But what if the client enters again in even in this loop? What if I enter a research group name which already exists on the portal?
Yeah, we are giving the else statement that it already exists. Give a new name. So in the read host, we
Correct.
will be again asking the
Correct.
client to
Correct.
give a new name.
Correct. But what if I give? That's what I'm telling you. The argument here is that yes, you're right in telling that it already exists. Very first time
Okay,
I checked. Firstly, the client is passing it here.
okay,
It said, okay, fine, the reado's name exists out here. It came here. It's telling reado's, sorry, the right host, the RG is already existing. And you again want to give a read host.
yes,
I'll say enter a new name. What if my client goes ahead, enters, let's say the same name again?
okay,
It will take. Why will it not? It will definitely take. It will give. It will take whichever name that you pass. The only
okay,
function of a read host is to just take whatever you are passing out here. It doesn't know when you're whether you're passing the same name or you're passing a different name. No. So my question is that what if again I give the same thing?
okay,
Then again you will have to put an if condition here telling whether that exists or not and then create it. Again you will have an else. Again in the else
yes,
you will again have to pass a read host. Right? So you're
yes,
creating a loop inside a loop which will again, kind of go into infinite number of possibilities. You cannot do that. That's the reason I'm telling. If you want to let's say try it out again and again, go with something called as a do while looping concept in PowerShell,
okay,
which will tell you that what do while this particular condition is not satisfied. Please check this out and see how you can use this particular do while looping condition for the problem statement that you are talking about, wherein
okay,
if the name doesn't exist, I again want the client to let's say pass a name, and it has to be done until he passes a new name.
new
That's
name.
what is the condition out here. If I do it in else, else, and else, and else, I'll be creating a huge branching structure out there. I'll be creating, let's say, a huge structure out there, which is not ideal. So that's the reason we go ahead and let's say do something called, or we go ahead and let's say implement a different looping concept out here called do while. So if else is not, let's say, a solution here. If you want to, let's say, repeat it again and again.
Okay.
Yes. Any more questions here?
So what if I want to give different like location for resource group and storage account?
So what we need to do then is that here I'll say it is RG location. Read host, what is the location for the RG? So I can say read host, please enter RG location. And if you want a different location for storage, I'll say dollar storage location. Again, give a read host statement here, telling enter storage location. This is a read host again. And in here, while I am creating a storage account, I'll need to pass a storage location instead of a location. The storage location out here. Then it'll go ahead check for that. It's not. Then it'll simply go ahead and let's say create this out. So you would need multiple, let's say, parameters out here if you want to maintain a different location for the storage account and a different location for the resource group as such out there. Yes. Any more questions here? Mhm. Right. Yes. Mhm. Okay. Yes, you'll have to give the names because this script is designed in such a way that it is only taking, let's say, a string value to begin with. String you can only pass one name. But if you want to, let's say, do bulk operations, then you will have to declare this as an array. Again, if you declare it an array, you'll have to introduce something known as a for each looping concept. For each looping, because here it's not just one resource group that you're creating, not one storage account that you're creating. You're doing multiple things out there, right? So you need to do a for each logic out there so that you can go ahead, take all that particular array, process it, and then create something out there. Yes. Any more questions here? Anyone? Any questions? Okay. Now, before coming to the next class, most likely we'll be having a session tomorrow. I'll just inform what is the timing of the session. So before coming to the next session out there, just read what is ARM template. I don't want you all to, let's say, practice or something out there. Just see what is an ARM template. Why is it really used? Where can it really come into picture? Just go with this particular paragraph on what is ARM template. What exactly do you mean by this particular template? And we'll talk about this particular template in the next session that we meet. All right. And before that, one more requirement that I do have out here is that today I went ahead, created a storage account if not existing, resource group not existing, container if that's not existing out there. Can you take this entire script and in the bottom also tell me how do you upload blobs inside the container using a PowerShell? Just try Google it out. That's where to Google upload blobs using PowerShell. Documentation itself is telling you how do you do that. It's giving you the entire end-to-end flow on how do you go ahead create a resource group, how do you go ahead create a storage account, how do you go ahead create a container, how do you upload a blob inside this particular container. So please check this out, and in the next session we meet, we'll start with this and then we'll go into something called as an ARM template out here. Okay. All right, so that's it from mine, guys. If there are no questions, then thank you and have a good day ahead. Good.
Kiran, do
Sorry.
we use ARM templates in PowerShell?
Uh, Sorry. Come again, Shiva.
Do we use ARM templates in PowerShell?
Do we use ARM templates with PowerShell? Just go ahead, read what is ARM template. I'll talk about what is ARM template and why do you use that and do we use it along with PowerShell and etc.
Okay.
Yes, one offline question I'll take. Yes. Mm-hmm. So the reusable script for loop concept again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Multiple storage account resource scripts. Yes. You come to me and tell me what is your logic and how did you approach the script. Okay. So we read about for loop, we read about for each, we did for loop, we did for each. Now you come back to me and tell How did you implement that? Okay, do a scripting, let it fail, not a problem. Then come to me, I'll tell you where do you, how do you, or how do you implement a for loop or a for each loop out there. Okay, so let's do it, let's say in an interactive way, not in a proactive way where I tell and then basically you listen. But this time you tell me what is the error, I listen. Okay, thank you guys.